There we go. Hi, everyone. Hi, Valerie.
Hello.
I'm trying out this new thing this week, so I hope the sound is better. We'll see how it goes. And Valerie has a slightly different layout, which is exciting. Otherwise, we are here today to honor this month's new moon. It is August 17th, 2020, and the new moon is coming up either tomorrow or Wednesday, depending where you are in the world. And it's a new moon in Leo, which is ruled by the tarot card for Leo is the sun, and it's also the strength card. And it to me feels like a very masculine, passionate, fiery energy. So it's about that sort of inner confidence that comes from the sun within us, that solar plexus chakra. So yay, welcome Leo. And we're in Leo season too, so we've got the sun and the moon, which is great. Is there anything you wanted to add, Valerie, about Leo?
No.
Okay.
No.
Valerie is a Leo. I'm a Virgo, but we're like really close in birthdays there. But so we're celebrating Valerie. Yay! Okay, so I'm
a pussycat Leo. So there's the muted Leo.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the same 3 decks, the Gaia Oracle as the theme, and then I'm going to alternate between the Good Tarot and the Animal Spirit Oracle.
Oh, I forgot to put the names of mine over here. I'm using mystery decks today.
Okay. Ooh, we got some good stuff happening. Interesting. How's yours going over there?
Interesting too.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the decks I should say is new to me, so I'm going to ponder it for a moment.
Okay.
New words, new everything, but it's beautiful. But yes, the only difference for my layout is I'm going to be pulling a card for the full moon.
Yes, wonderful.
Partway through. So yeah. So anyway, you go ahead and start.
Okay, so we'll start with the theme card, which is evolution, number 45, which breaks down to a 9. That's actually kind of fascinating because we're going into September, which is 9 months. But it's also 9s are all about endings. And the words here under the card are earth changes, climate change, and transformation.
Wow.
So and look at that, the sun. I was just talking about Leo and the sun and the solar plexus, but it is this sort of internal transformation and how it's beginning to show through. So the inner is becoming outward, but also that we're coming to the end of a cycle. The 45, the 9 is always about coming to the end of one cycle so that a new one can begin. And if you look at these lights here, they look like spirals. So that does speak of that idea of, the spiral healing, how it's never linear, and it doesn't really end. It's this cyclical process, this spiraling. We are becoming more, bigger, better, wiser. Wonderful.
Mine.
Did you want to add anything to that, by the way? Was there anything that jumped
No,
out?
I was just no, it looked good. I liked it. I liked the sun up at the top too.
Yeah.
I was zoning out, so let me think about this. Do I want to add anything? No, just a lot of light there. I liked it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because my card is the 6 of, what is this? Fire, air, and terrible. Anyway, it's a 6. But it's about balance.
That's air, I think.
Again, air, that's what I thought. And so, and then there's all the light up the center of on her too, and the rainbows. But she's got when I look at this and going along with your evolution card, it feels to me like as we're going forward into this evolution, we're going to really find balance this next cycle.
Yeah.
It's about balance, and then the rainbows, the rainbow colors, and the colors of the chakras. I mean, it's just it's healing. And this dagger that she holds resembles to me the medical symbol, the catechus.
Yeah.
And it's winged, and but also much like your card, there's a lot of light at the front, at the top, and then there's light from the top of her head. And so it's just really a lot of balance and energies flowing, and accepting that different and the dark is just as necessary to life as the light.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we have to continue to live in the duality of right and wrong. It just is. Diversity and change are the big tickets here, I believe, here on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So I like this.
It's something I've been keep feeling called to this month, and we are in August, which is the 8th month, but the idea of the 8 as that balanced number, and then you turn it on its side and it's infinity. But if you put it on its side, you could think of it as so within, so without, right? As within, so without. So
Exactly.
within, and then
Yeah.
the same thing, as above, so below. So it's like, use the number 8 as this way to sort of bounce yourself
Well,
off
and
what's
look at
happening.
that, even goes to, because there's the heart, and then this looks like, is it part of the infinity symbol?
Right, right.
What do we know? But I mean, it goes much to what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the energy flow through.
Mm-hmm. It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Cool. So those are the themes for this new moon. Then as we head into the first week, I've got the Hanged Man, number 12, which breaks down to a 3. So there's a little bit of a wait, there's some stillness, but also a releasing. Because if you look at him, the way that he's hanging there upside down in this one, he's got his wings, he can fly off anytime he wants, but it feels like he's sort of just testing the waters, or just kind of hanging out to see, there's no urgency in it. He can go whenever he wants to go, but he's sort of just enjoying the view. So there is this feeling of, as we're going through this, as we're feeling this transformation take root, why not just enjoy the view for a minute, and feel how freeing it is to not be weighted down by all the things that hold us. Like, not even gravity is holding him down, right? He's just hanging there. So it's like this sense of if you're hung upside down, everything falls out of your pockets, right? So there's absolutely nothing left that's weighting him down.
The other thing I see in that too is you're viewing everything from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I think about when I used to be a kid and hang off the bed upside down and look at my room and everything, and
yeah,
you see everything from a different perspective. So
that's right. The floors, the ceiling, and
yeah,
the cat's upside down, and yeah,
yeah, the
amazing.
dog looking at you like you're crazy, So.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. I think that's everything.
Well, do you have more? I'm sorry.
No, I think that's it. I just wanted to double check, but yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because my card is reaction, and it's about release. Same word came to me as you said, releasing. So is it glaring? Can you see it?
Can
Anyway.
see it. There's a little bit of glare, but it's okay. I don't think it's Oh, I can see my face in it. That's hilarious. I don't want to
I know
see my face in
they're very
it.
glossy. They're very glossy. So but she's holding a flower, and there's lotuses around her, and there's a column of tears, but there's magic happening all down here with suns and moons and stars and symbols and all kinds of
Yeah.
cool stuff happening. And so it's like, however you're feeling this first week, let it out gently. I mean, don't go, I mean, let's stop the insanity. But, you know, if you're feeling sad and remember, I don't know, it just came to me, tears are water, and releasing the tears waters our dreams, you know, so don't keep them pent up. Whatever emotion is rising up this week is necessary. And so just kind of like your hangman, float with it. She's holding the flower, she's in the flow, and there's just a lot of symbolic magic all around in there. These cards are so beautiful. It's just probably hard to see it all, but anyway.
Also, when you were talking about releasing, like the tears are watering the flowers, right? Because there's a little tiny flower on my left there that's just a bud.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the water's going to help it to blossom, right? So
Right. Yeah. So again, it kind of goes to my theme. It's all good. I mean, there's no good or bad. It just is part of our existence, and we've got to stop labeling it with good, bad. It just is, and let's let it go and learn from it and move on. Enjoy the view.
yeah, exactly. The word reaction is interesting in that one, because for me it's also bringing up the sense of like a chain reaction, as if this evolution that we're heading into, that we're going into, is going to cause all of us to also,
Oh,
it's like a chain
certainly.
reaction. So that's where a lot of this emotion and stuff may be coming from, is this process of it's sparking it in one another. Yeah.
Oh, certainly. And especially as we're learning more about one another too going forward. We have no excuses anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's great. That's interesting, actually, that we just talked about that, because the next card I have is Wasp Spirit, number 64, which breaks down to a 10. And the words are, sometimes life stings.
yeah.
So that's right on the tails of that reaction card. That's what it feels like a little bit. That's what the reaction card felt a bit like to me, was that sense of sparking off chain reactions within other people as well. And it may feel like a sting, but look at this web of life, how we are all interconnected, and a sting for one person can lead to something so beautiful for someone else or within ourselves. So it's about stepping back from the judgment and allowing for these little stings to be sparks that inspire something else, that add to the interconnectedness. Is there anything in there you wanted to add?
Well, just the sting part. We yet again, I guess this is my theme for today, is we deem the sting as bad because it causes a discomfort. I mean, and there's cultures that use bee stings for healing and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, and there, for me, I've always had a belief. This is my own. That there's something there if we get stung, especially if it's literal, like a wasp. There's something there that needs our attention.
Yes,
You know.
exactly. Yeah.
So when something is stinging us in our life, that's making us feel pain or is painful, well then generally we have something within ourselves that needs releasing around that.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah. So like from your first card there, it's almost like just be like take a different perspective on the reactions that happen as a result of the stings. Like these are really telling a story together, aren't they? So it's like look at the stings from a new perspective. Don't react immediately. Like let step back. Allow yourself to process all of it before then projecting it onto somebody else or
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because my card then that goes along with your wasp is expectation, which is interesting and not, because it's there's at first she goes at a dragonfly, but the wings, is it a butterfly? But there's wings there, and again there's roses blooming at the feet. But it's to me it's telling me to look forward, look towards the sun. Our spirit, the world, not the world, spirit, the universe has our back, and to have an expectation that everything is as it should be right here, right now.
Yeah.
Through the stings, through the uncomfortableness, all that stuff, but keep looking forward to the world the way we want it to be, abundant and restored,
Yeah.
colorful. And so there's a lot of wisdom too, I feel, in this card. There's a lot of wisdom and stillness. So it's about if the second week looks a little waspy and stingy, to have an expectation that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Have an expectation that you can get through it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
also,
because there's a lot of bright colors. I'm sorry, a lot of bright colors, rainbowy. So it's like
yeah, you've got
rainbow at
that
the end.
that
Yeah.
sort of sun
Mhm.
imagery again, that
Mhm.
same shining, but also like expect that the sting for you is creating something for somebody else. Like it's all interconnected. So instead of taking the sting personally, allow it to be part of this collective
Exactly.
um, beauty and expansion and shift that is necessary. Um, yeah, it's nice. So now you are going to do a special theme full moon card, right?
Yes. I like to take notes, and I'm forgetting to write my notes down. So my full moon card is a number 10, which is
Oh,
a 1 and a beginning and an end. But I love this card. It's 10 of Earth,
oh yeah, I love that one.
and it's about abundance to me, and joy. No more hiding behind the mask. She's removing her mask.
Hmm.
She's owning who she is. There's gentleness in nature. The deer is, just watching. The deer isn't running,
Yeah,
in the other direction. So there's a peace there. Yet she's got this little dragon resting on her arm. So there's a lot of magical support there.
yeah,
Um, and wisdom and support. It's fascinating. The dragon he looks very together. And there's a lot of green and healing. The dragon's green. So I feel like there's a lot of healing in this. Heart chakra opening too. And she's limbed by light. And so again, it speaks to me of universal support.
Mm-hmm.
and backing and glowing and standing in our own power. And, you know, if you believe in dragons, great. If you don't, that's great too. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I mean, it could be a parakeet sitting there, you know, I'm just so a canary, whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just own who you are. And it goes back to the expectation and the reaction. Just be. It's yet again, it's the balance of being, releasing the emotions, changing our perspectives, kind of. It's again another, but it yet being a full moon, which, but there's not a lot of energy here. I mean, movement, I should
Right.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. That, to me, I really get a feeling of luxury with that card. Like she's
Hmm.
her clothing seems very uh, the only thing I can think of is luxurious, but there's another word for it. But there just is this feeling of basking in that somehow at the full moon.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's lovely.
My
Thank you.
first card then for, so this is the third week of the new moon cycle, but right after
Right
right
after
at
the
the
full
full
moon.
moon
Hmm.
is rediscovery.
Oh, lovely. I like the colors.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and it's a child. So
Hmm.
it's rediscovering our inner child. Yet there's, is that, yeah, yet there's a goddess
Right.
and the
Yeah.
moon. And again, the magical colors and symbols that are just strung around and on. And here's the sun
Hmm.
bursting kind of symbol that kind of goes with yours. But it's really about, okay, bringing forth the wisdom that we've gathered, but now going forward with the sense of a child, seeing everything new again, colorful again,
Yeah.
exciting again. You know, and it's nice that it follows expectation, because it's about, before, you know, having the expectation that everything's going to be beautiful, which is childlike.
It is. Yeah.
Yet this is a an indigenous, wise person, and yet it followed by the inner child. But look at the wisdom in her eyes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So much wisdom, and then supported by the goddess. So all the information and wisdom that we have, but to make it all new. We're going into a new world, and so we've got to react new, rest new, quit judging, you know, that kind of stuff. So anyway.
It's really interesting because look at this is the one that I pulled, and I mean the colors are quite similar. Even the sort of around the hair seems similar. But I also
Mm-hmm.
was thinking that the wasp spirit broke down to 10, and then you pulled the 10 going into the full moon. So it's almost both of those tens, you know, representing the ending and beginning all in one. And then we both step into these, which are very accessing that feminine energy. So you've got the very young feminine, and I've got the Empress, which is the sort of the goddess um, of the three faces. So you've got the maiden, I've got the mother or the goddess here of that feminine triad that they talk about. Um, and it's all about creativity and fertility, tapping into the divine feminine within all of us. So something about that 10 and something about, you know, the weeks that come before that 10 is like maybe this is the last of the muck that's been brought up through this process of evolution, and then we step into this beautiful newness with this very young child and the Empress, which is representative of birth as well. birth and pregnancy and potential creativity. There's a
Well,
ripeness.
and we're going into September, so she's holding ripe wheat, and it's
Exactly.
harvest, and yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And she's a 3, and the Hanged Man was a 3. So there's a lot of balance even within the numbers of the cards here as well. And you've
Yes,
had a 10 and a 10, and yeah.
and 3 and 3 comes to 6, so
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us, we're mathematicians.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, we're also heading into Virgo season. And I mean, this is quite a Virgo-esque card, even though it's not the one that represents Virgo in the tarot. The idea of the Empress is quite Virgo-esque, because it's quite often Virgo is the woman represented with the wheat sheaf, right? So she's got this wheat and this groundedness. There's a certain groundedness about it. So, wonderful. Interesting. Ready for our next one? Did you have anything more to say about the Empress?
No, that was
Okay.
good.
Okay.
So now my last card for the cycle is Space.
Ooh, that's lovely.
It's so beautiful, and it's such an interesting finish. You had evolution to start with, and here we are in space.
Yeah.
And space to me, which, like I said, this deck is new, so one moment, please. But it talks again to expansiveness, so much expansiveness, and newness, beginnings. It's interesting. Look at the moon symbol, and there's birds, and there's just a lot of motion in this, a lot of motion. Yet is she going somewhere new? Where has she been? Where's she going? But she's just going along, and I just keep hearing new beginnings, just so many possibilities. And the thing is when we let go of our expectations, which is interesting that I got expectations,
Yeah.
but when you let go of a set expectation and just let the wings carry you where they will, and trust the universe has your back, we get something new.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a real fluidity to that. She almost looks like a phoenix, really, doesn't she? Coming up.
Sure, rebirth again.
Yeah.
Sure.
Out of nothing.
There's a lot of feathers, possibly, and then it's hard to see. There's little birds flying around in here, and then I don't know what these are, but
all kinds of
little
lovely things.
Sure, yeah. So it's like just so many possibilities, and she's emerging and meeting the universe, I think, for it. Meeting the universe.
Wow.
Perspective, different perspective. Again, back to the Hanged Man.
Back to the Hanged Man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know that, we've probably talked about it in past readings, but this year for me has really been feeling about the balance between the masculine and feminine within ourselves. So it's about unifying those energies within first, and then taking that wholeness out into the world. And sometimes to find balance, you first find imbalance. So that's where these stings and things come up. But when you talked about that, like gaining perspective, I just got this real feeling of maybe that's what he's waiting for in this time of waiting. He's waiting for the feminine, the union to happen, like through this month. So there may be some of the old woundedness around certain aspects of ourselves that we connect with one of the sides or the other, that then by the end we come into this beautiful unity feeling. It's lovely. I got from my last card, Stag Spirit, take the lead, number 58. So that breaks down to a 13, which is a 4, again about balance, but about foundations too. And that has been my theme of the year over on Patreon, is balance and building solid foundations, starting within. You have to have solid foundations within in order to be able to build anything solid on the outside. So again, all this releasing that we're doing is so that we can have these solid foundations to go forward and take the lead in our own lives and, outside of ourselves as well. It feels very powerful, very confident.
Well, when we understand that we're energy, and so foundations to us might seem stolid, rocky, anchored to the ground, but your stag, his head is there. And then for mine, it's in space. And so you can have a solid foundation. You can be grounded. I mean, I teach grounding to people. I mean, you do not have to walk barefooted on the ground to get grounded. You can ground from an airplane. You can ground from a 164th floor, so we need to release, we would like to release this perception of what a foundation is going forward.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about change and diversity, those are, that's just life. And so, and there's just going to be movement and, but you can still have a strong foundation and move all over the place. I mean, you can go out, visit space for several months and come back. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the foundation within. It's that knowing that no matter what, you've got your own back. You can respond in any way, like to any situation. And that goes back to the reactions card too. It's not about reacting to things that are happening and taking things personally. It's about saying, hey, how cool, I came up against this thing and I want to make a new choice on how to respond. And then you step into a different sort of leadership where you are modeling your solidity to others just by living it, by being it, by expressing it. So it's a really beautiful end with those two cards of such like freedom with structure.
Yeah, and to me, the word I keep hearing is responsibility. It's time, because it started with this balance, and it's almost not scales, but it's taking responsibility as we go forward. No more blaming history or circumstances or the person down the street or your parent. It's like taking responsibility and understanding that we're it. Whatever we're carrying along with us is it.
Right.
And we've got to find the balance within. And but yeah, the big word I'm hearing as we finish is responsibility, your own responsibility.
Yeah. Self-responsibility.
For yes, for everything, for your feelings. I mean, my husband and I have been working through a lot of stuff too, but it's just like understanding that people have their own issues, and if they say or react, that's them, that's not me. So
yeah, that's right. And it's like that, this is saying that's what the new leadership looks like. It's no longer about blaming or trying to say other people are responsible, because every time we other someone, we're just creating shame and all kinds of horrible responses. And really it's like saying, hey, we're all players. That's what the wasp was saying too. We're so interconnected. As we begin to recognize the interconnectedness and the harm that we do every time, we are connected to all of these other threads, which are connected to other beings. So we do harm to them, they do harm to us, but also the same with every time we do goodness. It's the same. Yeah.
Well, and to your initial card, evolution, with mine, something I have recently read too was, and it's like, okay, the final piece. When we recognize that everyone we meet, everyone that's in our life, everyone has their own story of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own story of who we are. And it may not be who we are at all. But when we understand that from our parents to our siblings to the stranger on the street, when they meet us, whatever, they create a story instantly about who you are. Well, are you there? Are you that person? Of course you're not. You're who you. So it's like there's the power is understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to quit worrying about everyone else's opinions of you and be the
Mm-hmm.
best that you can. And again, back to self-responsibility.
Yeah.
That's part of the big piece of the evolution that we're going into. We're
Yeah.
all interconnected, but by us all being the best pieces of it all, we get a stronger weave, tapestry, universe, whatever.
Yeah. And that's really interesting too, because like when you think about deer and stags, like they are herds. So what I was hearing as you were saying that too was like it's time to get out of that herd mentality, to really, like when you're saying um not just be who you are, but trust so deeply who you are. Like we've been through this process of evolution, so it's time to trust who you are so deeply that why would you want to be part of a herd? You know, it doesn't serve you because it's it's a false sense of security, thinking that you somehow fit into something. Maybe we're not meant to come here to fit in. Maybe we're meant to come here to bust out. So there's immense freedom in it. There's freedom in responsibility and freedom in structure, even though it may seem counterintuitive. That seems like
Oh, so
what the main
true.
message is. Yeah.
This Leo here has not wanted to do the computer work and stuff, but there's foundation in having a structure, but it's my own structure, and that's the piece. We want to
Exactly.
build our own
Yeah,
structures going
define it for
forward.
yourself, but you know,
Exactly.
use what exists to create your own particular version.
Hmm.
So,
Well, rock on.
wonderful. Yeah.
We're getting through it. We're getting through it.
Yeah. It's so hard to believe we're already almost at the end of the 8th month. But anyway, what a year. So,
Yeah.
as usual, it was lovely, Valerie. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you next new moon.
Thanks.